Hi there, this is Emerence. So, I am going to give you guys a presentation on Sweden that I did a PowerPoint for. So, Sweden is this beautiful country. It is 173,860 square miles. 91% of it is land and 9% of it is water, which is huge for such a small country. It is located in the Central European time zone, and it is one of the more northern countries of Europe. Because of its latitude being so high, it does have varying ranges of daylight and sunlight, ranging from 4 hours to 23 hours of sunlight, depending on the time of year. It does border Norway and Finland. And like I said, the 9% of water, it does contain 95,700 lakes, or just under that amount. The majority of the country is flat and hilly, as you can see on this topography map. The majority of the southern and eastern regions are slightly hilly, but mostly flat, consisting of a lot of plains. And then it does the borders for the coastline. They border the Baltic, Northern Sea, and the Gulf of Bothnia. So, as you can suspect, with it being in such a northern and high latitude, the country doesn't have much of a summer, at least compared to us. It does range from the negative degrees Fahrenheit all the way up to about 75 degrees. It doesn't really get any warmer than that. The climate would be known as temperate to subarctic. And then there are a lot more months of the year where it's a lot colder. Due to the lack of sunlight in the winter, which is when they get about 2 to 3 hours of sunlight per day, there's very little sun being absorbed because it is a lot of snow, especially in the northwest region and northern eastern regions of Sweden. So, the people of Sweden, they're known as Swedes, and they are mostly of Germanic origin. The native people are called the Sami people, and their population is greatly diminished over the years. 10% of the population are immigrants, mostly from Europe, and 1% of the population are black. Though there are many different religions in Sweden, the most prominent religion is the Church of Sweden, and the official language is Swedish. So, the Sweden's economy is primarily an export-oriented economy. The exports include timber, hydropower, and iron ore. Um, Unlike a lot of other countries, 50% of Sweden's energy comes from renewable sources, which is awesome. The other 50% is bioenergy, and it is primarily used for heat. The sources of pollution in Sweden are acid rain and industrial pollutions in the factories. So the future climate projections of Sweden is, like everywhere else in the world, an increase in temperature, an increase in precipitation, and unfortunately, though the precipitation has increased, the southern regions of Sweden have been in a drought for the last couple years, which is ironic because they have also had increasing amounts of flooding in the northern, southern, and eastern regions. And that is mainly due to the glaciers melting and the increased temperature that would melt the snow a lot faster after precipitation. Um, So the possible resolutions, unfortunately, most of the acid rainfall that Sweden has been experiencing in the last few years have actually been from pollution in neighboring countries, especially in England. So there is not much that they can do with that other than maybe speak with the countries and try to resolve or figure out a way for them to create less pollution in the air so that the acid rain would not, harm Sweden, because the acid rain has been harming their forests in their northern and western regions, as well as causing problems with um, the wildlife and their freshwater sources. There have been many chemical spills and chemical waste from industrial plants that they use for their lumber factories and other things that have polluted several lakes and rivers in those areas, and that have also caused issues with the wildlife there as well. So, the possible resolutions for Sweden itself is just lowering the chemical waste and trying to keep their fresh water fresh. And for the acid rain, there's not that much that they can do, unfortunately, at this point. Okay, that was the end of my PowerPoint. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.